talked about the mouthpiece and what it does, and reeds and what they do. Today we're going to talk about accessories. And the accessories we're going to talk about today include the ligature, the barrel, and the bell. The purpose of the ligature, of course, is to hold the reed onto the clarinet mouthpiece. But in addition to that, it has many other uses. It controls the color, it controls the response, it controls the feel that you have as a musician in combination with the mouthpiece and the reed. Ligatures are the best way to control a fully vibrating reed. And in the previous videos, I've said that the mouthpiece should vibrate and the reed should vibrate to their maximum. Now we have a chance to control how the reed vibrates and how it works with the mouthpiece and the reed. You see here many different designs of ligature, and let's talk about each one for a moment. There's plenty of ways to control the vibration of a reed on a mouthpiece. And with this ligature, for example, this is a Livein ligature. It's made out of plastic or hard rubber of some kind. And if you'll notice that the screws are in the back and used on the back of the mouthpiece, and these ligatures are always put on the clarinet very, very lightly, which is not my preference because I like to be able to take a ligature and grab it on my mouthpiece and pull the mouthpiece off quickly. With this, each time you pull the mouthpiece off, you have to reset the ligature. It's a good way, though, to let the mouthpiece vibrate and the reed vibrate at their maximum level. This is another ligature that does the same thing. This is a Francois Louise. And as you can see, very little material touches the mouthpiece. It's a single screw that sets this against the mouthpiece, and it only holds in these particular spots. Again, hard to grab, but very good at letting the reed vibrate completely. Here's another example of a ligature that lets the reed vibrate completely. Again, when you grab it, it's going to come off the mouthpiece. There's no right or wrong ligature to use. It just has to do with your preference and how it feels on your instrument. Here's a Pomona clarinet ligature that's been very, very famous over the years. And here's a Pomona soprano sax ligature. And they both tie in the front. They tie very tightly to the mouthpiece and still let the reed vibrate. I'm going to show you now some ligatures that have various levels of vibration, and they're all basically the same idea, except for the insides of them are a little bit different. As you can see, this ligature inside has metal inserts around so that it doesn't dull the reed completely. This one has a hole cut in the front so it doesn't stop the vibration of the reed completely, as does this one. These are all made by Rotor. Then you have this ligature, which is made to muffle the vibrations of the reed as much as possible. And if you have a full vibrating reed and mouthpiece system and you like to play dark, this is considered a way to do it. Same way with this ligature. Now, here's another ligature made by the same company that's made to play very loud and to respond instantaneously. I use it on the saxophone, the tenor sax especially, and the baritone sax. And as you can see, the design is very different. So what you've seen so far is several designs, all very different, that all do very different things. Here are two summer ligatures. As you can see, they were probably designed at very different times with very different thoughts in mind. One to hold the reed on as firmly as possible, one to give the reed as much vibration as possible. Here's a sample of an old Casper ligature from the 1950s, which I use. It was made in a couple different styles, And this was lent to me for life by Greg Huckins, which I appreciate a lot. And the thing I like about this ligature, it's got one tightening mechanism, and you can grab it whenever you take it off your clarinet and know that the reed's not going to come off. Or you have to change from an A to B flat clarinet if you're using the same mouthpiece. You can do this and have it still hold the reed on the mouthpiece, but yet this, for some reason, this ligature really lets the reed vibrate, and I prefer a vibrating reed. I prefer everything to vibrate on the reed system. Here's a copy of a Casper that they're making now. There's available in gold plating, bronze plating, and silver plating, and we'll talk about that later, but all different kinds of plating changes the way the mouthpiece feels and how the reed vibrates. I prefer stainless steel with no plating on it. Here's another ligature made by Selmer that I put on my Berg Larsen mouthpiece. And here's the original Berg Larsen ligature. And as you can see, at one time there was a stripe across here and it fit into this groove and the ligature fit on like that. But what I found by taking this piece of metal off on the back and using the Selmer ligature, that the mouthpiece really tightens down on the reed better with this kind of ligature. This kind of ligature has never really worked for me, and I know a lot of guys that don't use these ligatures anymore, though they still come with the mouthpiece, and it's still the design of the mouthpiece. Here's yet another ligature, and it's actually my favorite ligature for the alto saxophone. It's an old Sumner made in the 1960s. I don't think they're made anymore. Again, it's not plated, which is one of the things I like about it. It holds the reed to the mouthpiece firmly, and it does not curtail the vibrations of the reed. Here's another ligature made by the Rovner company, which is much like these, except for the new models have this metal insert so that the reed is actually lying on the metal insert. It also has metal inserts that you can insert inside the insert that will dull or brighten the sound. So on the Rovner, we have these several different styles. We have dull, we have very bright, and we have moderately bright. My other favorite ligature for the clarinet is the Charles Bay ligature. And though very light, it can be tied down to really hold a reed on very well and vibrate well. It's available with 1 screw or 2 screws. I prefer the 2-screw model. And interestingly enough, they make this in silver and in gold plating. And at one point, one of my students needed a ligature, and I called Charles Bay up and I said, send me a ligature, would you? And he sent me one that wasn't plated. And my student and I had the gold one and the silver one, and the one that he sent that wasn't plated. And we both liked the one that wasn't plated. Of course, since we were sending for her, she got it. So Charlie, if you have any ligatures left that aren't plated, send me one, please. Here you have a ligature that you buy when you buy an instrument. It comes with the mouthpiece. There's nothing special about it. It may be great, it may be terrible. You don't know till you try it. They're usually rather large and have a lot of metal on them and are made primarily to hold the reed on because most mouthpiece makers feel that they're selling to beginners and they want to make sure that they get a good hold on the ligature. These are aftermarket products in most cases, and again, we're talking about the importance of aftermarket products.